Well, Dan Kiernan is with us now. He's a director of the Soto Tennis Academy, so he knows a thing or two about tennis, based in Spain, and he's in Nottingham for a tennis tournament at the moment. Dan, I'm guessing you've seen this. What was your initial reaction?
I think my initial reaction was disappointment. Actually, I watched the match. At the academy, we have very strong values. We're always teaching our players at the academy, and I'm also a father of three, so I often kind of think with that father's head on. And for me, it wasn't so much just the behaviour; it was the fact that there wasn't a responsibility then taken after the behaviour. And I think that was my biggest thing. We all, under the pressures and the immense pressure of trying to win your 24th Grand Slam, and the desperation to do that, and everything that Serena's been through to get to that point. So I can understand how blood can boil and overflow, but what I can't understand is that this has now become a completely different, going down a different route rather than just hands held up. I didn't behave in the right way. She's a role model for many, and I think it would go a long way if she did take the responsibility for her actions.
A role model who believes in fighting her corner. That's a good role model, isn't it?
It very much is so, and I think, I do believe that the fight is real and the battle is real in sexism in sport, and certainly in society and in tennis. I also must say I'm very proud of tennis for the fact that I do believe the sport of tennis fights that battle more than most.
I can't sit here and say I wouldn't.
Oh, sorry, that's a bit more of Serena. She jumped in there.
She mustn't hear of me. But in terms of the equality and the pay, and I think that's something that tennis has done a very good job of. But I just think in this instance, the reality is, if we take it in each isolated incident, she was receiving a code of conduct for one coaching, which you could argue is a little bit unlucky, but ultimately the rule was broken. She then broke a tennis racket, which is a code, and then the third one, and I don't think anyone can disagree, the way she spoke to the umpire is not the way that we want to speak to anybody in life. Never mind an official on the tennis court. So I don't think she can argue with the fact that the codes have been made, and the fact that then it's gone down a route of it being sexism is actually, I think, it almost goes against those that have fought so hard to get that equality. And I think it would have shown it much more if she'd been stood up and been a little bit stronger on it and taken the responsibility. And then obviously afterwards there will be things to look at, and we can continue fighting that fight, which again I think we do very well in tennis.
I remember McEnroe very much in the 80s. I was a bit tennis obsessed in the 80s. I loved watching Wimbledon, and I remember it's kind of exciting where he kicked off and people sort of wanted him to do it. And in a way, that's what he became known for, which I think, in fairness to Serena Williams, that hasn't been part of her persona at all. So this is a bit of a surprise. But do you think that she's right in some ways, that regardless of whether she misbehaved and behaved badly or not, that we're more shocked or more outraged or more intolerant of this because she's female?
In this instance, no. I think without question there will be examples of that, and I know 12, 18 months ago, Novak Djokovic made a ridiculous statement about pay and about the equality, and then Andy Murray, who's been the biggest advocate for female tennis, which has really helped, has countered that. But I think in this instance, if you look at it a little bit more objectively, it wasn't the case. It was the case that she had those misbehaviours, she had those misdemeanours that then led to a game penalty. And I think from there, if she'd held her hands up in the press conference afterwards, and said the heat of the moment, it got a bit too much for me. I've responded in a way that I shouldn't. I then don't think that anyone would be making a big deal on this. And I think certainly I wondered why I made some social media comments, and I wondered why it had riled me up so much. And when I thought about it, it was two things. It was one, the fact that she hasn't taken responsibility for her actions. And that's something that I really, really value and want to teach my own children and also the tennis players at my academy. And two, so many influential people have then got involved and made excuses and justified her behaviour as well. You know, if we go back to John McEnroe, Nick Kyrgios, you know, some of these players that, without question, their behaviours are questionable, and it can be fun to watch, as it can be fun to watch Serena do that. They've come off the court afterwards and held their hands up to that. They haven't tried to hide and say, this is not my fault. This is, you know, hands up. Yep, that's how I've behaved. I apologise. You know, am I going to do it again? Maybe I will, maybe I won't. But rather than now deflecting the blame into a real issue, and that's my thing on it. I almost feel it's diluted that issue and taking people's thoughts away from what the real issue, what is it, of sexism, of mothers in playing sport, of racism. You know, the real issues that do need to be strongly considered and improved.
Dan,
I just don't think this was the case.
We must leave it there. Thank you ever so much for that. That's Dan Kiernan, who's the director of the Soto Tennis Academy based in Spain. I have to say, pretty much coming out against Serena on the text so far. Christine says, how can she tell the umpire he will never umpire any of her games again? She's not in charge, but she thinks she is. Jackie says, shame on Serena Williams.